I do not need another camera, but as with every other day, I came across a deal that I couldn't pass up. And this next one's a good one. There's a bunch of reviews right now on YouTube, which I'm really happy about because this is a great camera for an excellent price. Let's jump in. The Nikon D70. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now the D70 I picked up from Goodwill. www.goodwill.com, I believe. Or Goodwill Finds. I don't know, I'll put it on the screen. Anyway, it seems like people are just giving these to Goodwill and Goodwill are selling them to us and they're selling them for no money. You guys, this particular Nikon D70 cost me $16. Yeah, $16, $16.99 I think. More about this camera then. It arrived in this condition, which is particularly disgusting. I'm gonna clean the stickiness off with an alcohol pad and I'm just gonna go ahead and sanitize all of the sticky bits. Pretty nasty.
But the satisfaction you get when it's immaculate, it's huge, right? You know, sense of achievement. I mean, I like in my time because I'm taking pictures of my family, I'm taking pictures of the times when I would otherwise be watching, shows or on my phone browsing funny YouTube clips, which is another one of my favourite pastimes. Okay, I think we're there, you guys.
So why did I purchase this camera? Well, it's a 6 megapixel CCD sensor camera. And I love the CCD vibes. I like the images I get from them and I just like the colors. Having a Nikon DSLR camera is ideal for me because I have a whole bunch of glass. Check this out. This is my D90. Now the D90 I got in a deal recently. I purchased, I think 15 cameras in one deal for $125. And that sounds insane, right? But it's true. They were listed as not working and all but 2 of them worked. Also in the deal was a D40X and a D60. I've also got a D3000 and a D3100. Those were in the deal as well as the D90. This is my point. All of these cameras have interchangeable lenses, right? And I have a bunch of Nikon glass. So it means I can use my lenses with all of these cameras and not have to worry about purchasing new lenses. So that saves me money as well. So more about the D70. Should you buy it in 2023? Absolutely yes. This is the reason why. If you are learning photography, if you are new to photography or you're getting back into photography, you don't need to invest thousands of dollars to get your heart and get your mind back into this game. This particular camera, $16.99, I already had the glass, I already had the lens, the battery came with it, I needed to buy a charger. So if you think the camera is $16.99 plus postage, so 30 bucks. The battery and the charger will be 15 bucks, so 45 bucks. And then you can pick lenses up for nothing. This lens here is the Quantry 50, I think. Quantry 35 to 70. I got this lens free with one of my SLR automatic Nikon cameras, but you can pick them up dirt cheap. Then you'll need a CF card. Get a low gig CF card. I buy 2 gig. I buy 1 gig, 2 gig CF cards. I just got this 4 gig one because it was cheap. I got them in a deal off Amazon. I think it was 20 bucks, 15, 20 bucks. Throw that in there and it's good for a couple of thousand shots on this camera. So, 2004, CCD sensor, Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. When it was released, it was $1,000 to $1,200. Shutter speed on this, I mean, back in the day, 1/8,000, super fast. It was unheard of back then. The shutter speed back then was comparable, I think it was to the Nikon F5, which is a high-end SLR film camera. This was the film killer. The DSLR cameras took over from film cameras, the D1X, etc. I've got a couple of those as well, but these cameras were like prosumer, so everybody could buy them, everyone could enjoy them. Why were they so good, and why should you buy it? It's a digital DSLR camera. You can take multiple shots of the same subject, adjusting your ISO, adjusting your shutter speed, getting used to the camera, getting back into it. Think about it. When you learn to ride a bike, you put training wheels on. When you get better, you take the training wheels off. This is my Nikon FT. I love this camera. It's steadfast, it's solid, it's robust, it looks cool, and it takes beautiful pictures. But it's a film camera. It's manual. Manual winding, manual rewind. It does take a battery for the light meter, but it's mechanical. I advance the shutter, I set my composition, I manually focus, and then I take my picture, and then I advance the shutter again. It takes film. Film is expensive. Film takes a while to get developed. 36 exposures in this camera, and if I want to get it developed, I'm not going to get those films back for a couple of days. Digital is instant. So this camera is what I would use if I was a little bit more competent as a photographer. That sounds crazy, right? Surely you should learn how to use manual and then go digital. My opinion's the opposite. If you're learning to ride a bike, you learn with the training wheels on, right? And then when you get good, you take the training wheels off, and then you get to roam free and do alley-oops and ramps, etc. But that having been said, if you're learning, you don't really want to be firing all of your money into film. If you get a digital camera like the D70, learn what you're doing. You can stick this on automatic, adjust all your settings just like you would on your old school 60s, 70s, 80s film camera. You can do that with this, but you cannot do digital stuff with an old 70s camera. Impossible. With this, I can treat it as if it was an SLR camera. Yeah, I can take my time, set the composition, etc., but it's gonna save me money. This costs $16.99. That's how much it costs right now for a roll of Portra 400. On button at the top to turn the camera on. On the back, we've got our screen, and if I want to preview the last shot I took, I can just press play, and then that's a preview of the last shot I took. To access the menu, there's a menu button then, and it's super tactile. All these buttons on this side do an array of things for the camera. You can look at a review and someone will go through that with you. I'm not going to do it. There's my CF card. Press the gray button to get it out. Battery goes in the bottom. What more is there to say about this camera? The wheel on the side has all your favorite settings, and the picture just tells you what it's doing. So if it's a head, it's portrait. If it's a running person, it's sports. If it's a mountain, it's landscape, easy peasy. Or you can just leave it on green, leave it on auto, and then take pictures. Now for me, my favorite setting is A. A for aperture priority. I set my aperture by turning this wheel. See that? Left to go down, right to go up. So let's listen to this baby fire. Not massively fast. So when I look through my viewfinder, I have to press the button to focus, but at the bottom of the viewfinder, there is a bar of LCD numbers and images. That's going to tell me my ISO. It's going to tell me my f-stop. It also tells me if I need the flash to pop up. Should you buy the Nikon D70 in 2023? Absolutely yes, especially if you're a beginner photographer. It's intuitive, but it doesn't have all of the bells and whistles of new cameras, so it kind of forces you to set your composition and get things right. Guys, just because it's cheap today does not mean it doesn't take good images. It takes fantastic images, and it's all about you and your photography and what you love. I still love shooting film. I take my EM, I take my FT out with me still, and I shoot film. I have a bunch in the fridge, But just when I'm learning and I'm trying to hone my skills, I use cameras like this. Now, this D70 is going to get a bunch of images taken with it. I'm going to go out and shoot with it and I'll show you some images I get. But it feels exactly like the rest of my Nikons from that era. So I already know the interface and it should be relatively easy to use. As always, thank you so much for stopping by. The D70 is a great camera. Go and buy it if you can find one cheap. Take some pictures. Feel free to like and subscribe. I'll be uploading a bunch of videos, you guys. I have a ton of cameras, a ton of images. We've got a bunch of cool stuff coming through. These cameras cost no money. I'm happy to review them. I love photography, and I'll see you on the next one.